This is Eye on the Community, and I'm your host, Sean Anthony. And September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and here to talk to us about that and more is the Executive Director of the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, Miss Annie Ross Womack. Welcome back to the program, Annie. How are you?
Thank you, Sean. I'm doing great. Exhausted, but a good exhausted. Been navigating the state. These what's the date? Only that I've been had 15 events already. So
How about that? That's a good productive
that's a good.
schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about the awareness that's going on this month, why it's important, and how does it relate to the organization that you represent?
Well, of course, with us being the statewide agency for all 88 counties in the great state of Ohio, we do education, outreach, and advocacy to just anybody about sickle cell disease, sickle cell trait, and then also any other hemoglobin blood disorder. So as I said, we've been navigating the state. We've already had our kickoff event. We had one of our walks. We have two more scheduled for next weekend. Then we have one wrapped up at the end of the month. We have one in Toledo, one in Dayton, one in Cleveland. So we just been working hard. We just did our signature gala last weekend. And then we had our blood drive kicked off on Saturday. So I was very, very busy. So we hosted two blood drives in the same week. So we got a Sleeves Up campaign that runs from the 1st to the 30th at any Red Cross across the state of Ohio. Roll your sleeves up and donate for sickle cell. So that's basically what we've been doing these past, I don't even know what today is, the 11th. We've been very, very busy. This weekend, I have a Sickle Cell Sabbath weekend, which is the 16th and 17th, where we go out and talk to congregations about the importance of minority blood donations and hosting blood drives. So I'll be bringing the keynote on Sunday in Cleveland, but we have a walk that Saturday, and we have an event that Friday. Our second annual gala, which is our 15th year doing that one in Cleveland. So
Where can people get these dates? Do you have a calendar that's
we
on
have a
the
calendar of
website?
events on our website
Okay.
at ohiosicklecell.org. You can click on that. It takes you right to the event page. They're all listed. So every day there's something.
Let's pivot. It's great that you have a lot of events going on. Definitely, those that are viewing this broadcast, go to ohiosicklecell.org to get those dates so you can participate and help out. But let's shift real quick and talk about any advances in the science of helping people with sickle cell disease and or the trait.
Well, right now they're doing a lot of CRISPR gene therapy technology. We're still in that clinical trial phase. I know I talked to you about that last year. I also talked to you about that in April, and I think in June. Anytime I see you, we're talking about these advancements. So, theoretically, you get people, they go through the clinical trial phase to see if they work. So right now we're doing clinical trials all over the nation. In Ohio, I think we have 6 sites now that are doing this CRISPR technology, and that's gene therapy, where they take genes, edit the genes, and then reintroduce the genes into the body to correct that defective gene, that the one that creates the initial trait. So they're working on that feverishly. And then there's several other different curative therapies coming down the pike. But again, since this is a genetic disorder, it may be very difficult to have a one universal cure other than that bone marrow transplantation. And that has to happen very early in the youth stages of one's life.
Now, I've done some research on CRISPR gene editing, and it's somewhat controversial, and I'm all for the advancement of science to help and progress people. It's a little cautious to me if it's in the wrong hands, people with nefarious intentions. How have Black people been receptive to this new science because of the
It's a
fears?
pushback. It's a pushback. I mean, it's ethical, to us, people of color, we look at this as, okay, this is what I was born with. And then if you have any type of religious background, you really push back on anything that's going to change you scientifically. But they've been using CRISPR technology in other disease states, but it's very expensive, one. But also it's the moral issue. Do I put my child through this? Do I put my young adult through this? And then, there's still that graft versus host disease where they can reject it. I know that on a personal note, I know somebody close to me who did gene therapy and it didn't work.
Mm.
So it's very costly, it's very invasive. It takes a lot out of a person to get themselves ready for any type of clinical trial or any type of study like this. I mean, it's a whole psychological things they have to sit and talk to about where they are mentally with this treatment, physically, are they physically able to withstand this treatment? And then financially, is it going to be paid for? Because it's a very costly procedure.
Right.
And then to go through all of that and then have it not work is one thing, but then to go through that and then there's other complications as well. So you have a lot of people in the sickle cell population that are like, well, I understand the sickle cell, I get that, but I don't know this other possibility. So it's something that is definitely an individual choice. It's you have to really think about what you're embarking on, because it could also end your life early, or it can also cause other complications.
Wow. I mean, when you say it like that, it's heavy. Now you said it's expensive, and I know this is your organization is nonprofit. So how does, if someone hypothetically say myself, hey, I'm interested in CRISPR gene technology, I don't have the funds. How do clients like that, get the cost offset?
Well, what we would do is try to see if you can enroll in one of the clinical trials where you don't have to pay for that, but it's a very stringent criterion of, first, what's your sickle cell type? Have you had so many crises? Are there other issues going on? Are you in any organ failure? Are you mentally ready to do this? Who's going to be caring for you as you go through the trial? So it's a lot of things, but we try to get people, ready for clinical trials. So then there is no cost. And then once these things pass, and then that's another thing, we don't want to be guinea pigs. So it's kind of hard to, have a person mentally ready to go through a life-altering test, because that's what it is. It's a trial and error. It's a clinical trial. And it may not work, or there may be some complications. So why should I put myself through this? And, we don't think forward to say, oh, this will benefit, the next generation. It may not even benefit the person that's going through it, but then it may benefit the next generation. So, those are some, hefty, lofty ass of a person,
Right.
to go through something like that.
Wow. Okay, let's lighten it up a little bit. Now, you talked about some of the activities that you've had in the recent past, the sickle cell walk, run, jog. Can you tell our viewers what other activities are coming up?
Well, what's coming up in your area? So we say Columbus. I got Columbus. I got a lot of areas. But next on Wednesday, the city of Columbus, hosted by Councilmember Nick Bankston, will be hosting a blood drive at the American Red Cross office. That's also on our website. And then on the 18th, very important, we will be lighting City Hall red. So the illumination service starts at 7 p.m. That's also on our website and our social media pages. Starts at 7 o'clock on the 18th, where they will light the city. They will also give out 2 awards, one to a sickle cell warrior and one to an organization that has really impacted the Columbus area. We also have blood drives going on in Dayton. We have a family day in Dayton. I have a sleeves up again. Like I said, in any city where there's a Red Cross, there's a blood drive going on every day, all day. And then we end our month in Dayton with our first ever Champions of Sickle Cell Luncheon that will be at the Sinclair College at the end of the month. So we got a robust couple more weekends, and of course our Sickle Cell Sabbath initiative, which is always that third Saturday and Sunday of September, where we have some big event at some major church. We have a couple all over Springfield, Trotwood, Dayton, Cincinnati, Cleveland, but I'll be the one in Cleveland because I finally get to go. So that's
Awesome.
what we're doing.
So, where can people get more information about sickle cell trait and disease and the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association?
Again, our website, ohiosicklecell.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. I mean, we're out there. Google Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, it'll pop up. I mean, we've been here since 1960. So, we're working on 63 years
That's
of providing
amazing.
services. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on. The executive director for the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, Miss Annie Ross Womack. Thank you for sharing this on Eye on the Community.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Take care.